plot, something unexpected blows up under the sun. But when elephants fight, right here in the Situation Room. Here we bring together the main actors to take their Situation Room with 𝐴ꜱ every Monday to Friday from 4 to 5:30 p.m. on your super dial.
The president must know.
Right? You know you can do without that bribe. You know you don't even have to harass that young man because he is properly dressed. And you think he's a Yahoo boy? You don't even have to assault that citizen whom you have sworn an oath to protect. Yes, we understand that the pay is not good enough to take you home, that you are still wearing a uniform. Different as we continue to call on government stations nationwide. And from mainland 98.3 FM, we implore you to do better.
Between October 2024 and January 2025, more than 265 lives have been lost twisted on many human bodies in many Nigerian states in their countless attempts to scoop fuel from overturned tankers. Ask yourself, is it worth the risk? The answer is a resounding no. Scooping fuel from a one spark and disaster strikes. Ignorance or hardship cannot justify pulling your own life on the line to stay alive. Whenever you see an overturned tanker of people attempting to scoop fuel, flee immediately due than any way being otherwise. Remember, fuel scooping is deadly. Don't take the risk.
The president must know that this is a bad time for our nation. We must rise to it. They are killing people.
New day, a new event. Old actors meet new ones, and a fresh twist adds up to the old subplot. And the grass suffers and the ground shakes. We are always plugged in, watching it all unfold right here in the Situation Room. Factor of human concerns. Stay tuned to the Situation Room with 𝐴꞉ every Monday to Friday from 4 to 5:30 p.m. on your super dial, mainland 98.3 FM. The Situation Room. We are.
The president must know that this is a bad time.
25. More than 265 lives have been lost to fuel tanker explosions in bodies in many Nigerian states in their countless attempts to scoop fuel from overturned tankers. Ask yourself, is it worth the risk? The answer is a resounding no. Are highly flammable one spark and disaster strikes. Ignorance or hardship cannot justify pulling your own life on the line to prevent a potential explosion. It is better to stay alive for your loved ones who depend on you. You're very welcome. It's an amazing time and it feels good to have you join us on the show today. Let me quickly announcements and especially those people that don't see anything wrong in scooping fuel when there's any cases of same in the last few maybe weeks, months. We had a very bad one in December in Niger State, in February as well, somewhere up north. But of course, we've not had that in a while. But join the conversation. But today we'll revisit the conversation that we discussed last week, Thursday. Well, I got a lot of messages, unfortunately, so we really have to dig into those conversations. But of course, we're going to be looking at the tenure of the outgoing INEC chairman, Professor Mahmood Yakubu. Yesterday, about 10 minutes later, the news eventually, the presidency released a statement denying that rumor that there's nothing of such that happened. The tenure of Professor Mahmood Yakubu ends in November 2025. That means he has only one, by-elections. Also, I think 2 to the Senate, about 6 or thereabouts in the House of Representatives, the other December in Anambra State. Over the weekend, the primaries of the nation formed for the governorship, but for the All Progressive Congress, the sitting governor, I'm sorry for saying outgoing, Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo also won the primaries of the and I was ready to stand in the primaries against him for ABGA. ABGA is the ruling party in Anambra State. To Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo, he's been from the same political party. Good philosophy. Extend the deadline, which is going to be this weekend, by the way. Chairman. And there's been a stick for, the appointment of the INEC chairman should be, and who chooses the CBN governor, of the chairman of INEC, the constitution of the Federal Republic. There's been a whole lot of issues. If I choose you for whatsoever, am I expect is the one that would approve the question that a lot of Nigerians are putting forward is the representing Osun Central Senatorial District or of INEC. There's also been the question of it's been professors, even the chairman of INEC. Mr. Miwadiemi said it sometime of the last elections we've had. Let's go back to 19 election. And what is the percentage of the people that lost voters registration to participate in the election? But what is the percentage of almost 100 million Nigerians, specifically 98 million Nigerians registered participate in that election? So you ask yourself, we have a president that is presiding over a population of almost 230 million people, and he won an election. So we're going to be setting the agenda on the show today, full throttle. And I have a doctor, and of course, our Dr. Su Adogo is going to be joining me on the show. A lot of technologies that also came into the election. Billions of taxpayers' money in Naira were also spent on the election, 2023 election. 92% of seats contest challenged in court, from the president to the Senate, to the reps, to the House of Assemblies, to the governor's election. The issue of IREV also came into place. The issue of, underage voters, a free and fair and credible election, as they would always say, an election to be credible. And so you ask yourself again, in situations where the court sent in Plateau North Senatorial District, the former Minister of Labor, the immediate past governor, he had to resign his appointment when Senate. And if you look at it, the same process he benefited from worked against the man that lost an election, eventually benefited. There are a lot of instances like that. We're going to be Bola Ahmed Tinubu would choose to succeed the outgoing INEC chairman, Professor Mahmood Yakub, and whoever becomes the next INEC and Osun in 2026, and conduct the general election in February and March 2027, and also becomes the INEC chairman, is so huge that Nigerians would have to short notice. But thank you for accepting to be on the show today. How we want to have the conversation on the show today. Whoever becomes the chairman of INEC, Dr. Dogre, we saw what happened during the entire, announcement of the 2015 election with Professor refused to stand up. In 2023, I was at the INEC Collation Center, the INEC office at Yabam. Sometimes the result came in at 1:30 a.m. and we stood, Dr. Dogo, we're going into a 2027 election. That's the way Nigerians have been battling with survival in terms of the economic situation, the security challenges that we have in the country, the state of infrastructures, how the people have had to, literally struggle to either reinforce whatever choice you've made or you charge of that election. What
not be appropriate to decide to retain him. The qualities we need in an INEC chairman, somebody who is a person that will say, chosen by God, I'm in quotes. That is to say, his level of integrity is in the real sense of it. We do not have 10%. It has to be changed that a person can only be president if he has at least what done. We will never have a credible election in that sense. Up to half of the total votes that we had. That number is supposed to be the English with the person should have at least more than if he has 51% of the vote. But in my view, there is no one who has 51% of the vote. He is definitely should be. I think the National Assembly the president should only be chosen as percent of the total vote in the country. And as I earlier said, there can be better ways of making the choices. The best way should have been that, look, different. The answer is no. In fact, the National Assembly is worse than any other level of so since this democracy started. Since we started, since 1940, whoever chooses you, it should be you come election, but by the court. Because if it's not, even in the local government, settle the case. What kind of democracy is that? It doesn't make sense, does it? Certainly not. And so we should have a process whereby as you cast your vote, the result is shown all over who has the highest number of votes. And if nobody gets up to 51% or so, and they can decide that, look, the highest to do so. That is how you can have Nigeria's president. And when I am talking of president, I actually mean that he has won in the Senate in the 51% of the votes in that area. Do you get what I'm saying? Well, it's out of be that the person who has the highest number of votes. If there are 30 candidates, the person with 4,500, I want to say is that, look, we have Professor Umosu did. He was from this aspect. Must we do it exactly the way it is now? In option A4.
I mean, that gave
the way. Let me put it in the past, whether it's Professor Yakubu or and it has never been. Why should it be like that? And why should not ever they say that we do not look at the pattern through which election, the elect look. Anytime you cast your vote, you will know the numbers that each political party has won. You just should be a real for it.
I mean, Dr. Dog, answers to questions that I probably will have, asked you in the course of these interviews. But hey, we're going to talk about trust, which is a really constantly dropped from 2019 to 2023. 48 million was about around 43 million in 2019. It became around Nigerians registered for that election. By the end of the candidate of the PDP had about 6.9, and the former governor of Anambra State and the candidate election. Now, a lot of people are saying maybe INEC and the people getting involved in the election. Build up to that election, Dr. Dogo. Our votes don't count. The people don't already know who go win the election. Those were the body language of Nigerians going into that election.
I think I've already answered that one, but I don't mind repeating. Count. They feel because whoever wants who is will still come back if they desire to do so. That is to say that INEC is not wanted. Otherwise, and I will use Kaduna State as an example. Not me. I'm saying it on radio so that it to go and cast a vote. And it was virtually like that in Kaduna State. In fact, APC at whatever level, all of them, is it possible APC won? Is it possible? You're getting me? Up to now, Southern Kaduna is the truth. Do you get it? In the whole of local government chairman, stand? No, it shouldn't. Do you get it? And if you look at it, I'm just using Kaduna State as an example, but if you vote, will be PDP. Are you getting me?
I'm with you, Dr. Dogo.
Which is not only for governors to do that, and it's because the presidency, which Supreme Court or Appeal Court or whatever come to the issue of governorship, for example, don't permit. The Supreme Court does not even look on to say, are we saying that every single case was wrong? It's not so. It will simply be confirmed. So those that are to be blamed, if they do not go with the corruption that is taking place, it may appear that I'm shifting a bit away. You see, you have to look at the thought across the country, and that is what you call as Christian or Muslim, or the person doesn't belong to a purpose. The issue of, look, do what is right, and right is right. The Bible tells us that the abundance of one's have amassed. Will you go away with it when you the kind of insecurity that we have? It's because of, in fact, it is not wrong to say the police does not work for an ordinary Nigerian today. The police reason to say that, look, people who are doing a peaceful, were those protests. So why did the single opportunity, because those police should happen? You see, because what rich in the escorts they have, the more insecure is simply ways of bringing far from being democratic, because of the cheating, because of the evil, because of the military governance, which we have distanced ourselves. And we say we don't call peaceful revolution. As in Iran, are you getting me? When they wanted to change the Shah of Iran, the soldiers, they had no other alternative than to drop their guns, want that. I mean it. INEC, the government people, and do what we are supposed to do. They are right. But how long will we be preaching that to provide service for people if he had wanted, isn't it? What if one term he refused that he is not going to go back again? My people that their names are talked of in the world today, who have changed the issue Mandela. How rich were they? It is not money that has made their name to become indelible in our, and is thinking he is going to make money. It's a because they bribe situations whereby those INEC people in some cases died. Isn't to start what I would say an absolute revolution, changing our value system. And to know that when I say common man, everybody in the real sense of it is common. Seriously rich politicians. You can go to Mama Put and sit down and eat. People, as they come out, you have policemen left, right, and center. Despite that, they are not in trucks to fix the hospital. They steal it instead of using it for the purpose for which the money is meant for.
Dr. Dogo, we've moved to the left, to the right, and you've actually, given us an icing on the cake of a conversation that was supposed to center around it's easier for enablers in all of this. Some of us, we live on the same street, bringing adulterated fuel into the country. It is not the government that is on, and you are selling an expired politicians that are owned by Nigerians. The government have also failed in their responsibility to provide standardization in very not standard quality enough, and you bring it into sell.
No, sorry. No. I wouldn't get back. And the fake things that come into Nigeria, do they fly in the air to come into Nigeria? Customs, whether it's airport or seaport. So these people, take for example, of recent, or since last year or a few years, or since General Marwa became the drug peddlers, have we ever had success of that as we are those people producing those things? And if there are consequences for whatever actions, that everything goes back to the right way. But it's simply because that the police, when they are going out for roadblocks, things for them to eat. So it depends on how to pay you, take for encourage and whatever it is. Name one. Does it even make sense to say, they arrested a sheep? Why don't you allow those people to be brought and will you show evidence to bond it? Because if the government did not tolerate that, are you getting me? If they should be punished when there is a repercussion, then you will have less. It all boils down to government.
So the phone lines are buzzing. A lot of people want to get in, then decide to retain the current chairman. But however, let's agree that his 2 term would be ends. The Nigerians are exactly interested, maybe more interested now